Good morning everyone and welcome to a really quick rundown of every change they made to the SCP Secret Lab Christmas update. And before we begin, I just want to say Merry Early Christmas everyone, and if there's anything I ever want for Christmas, it would be more subscribers. So if you could please subscribe to Samarta, that would be pretty cool. Anyways, let's just get into it, starting with the 3X Particle Disruptor gun they added with the update. The 3X Particle Disruptor is a brand new laser type weapon they added to the game. It only has 5 bullets you can shoot at a time, and it's impossible to find other ammo for it. The laser gun instantly kills humans, and when it does that, it will disintegrate the body it hits and just make it so it disappears so you can't even find it anymore. It also has splash damage. If you shoot a person and others are nearby, there's a very high chance they will take a lot of damage. Are they going to die? Probably not, but they will be very low HP after you hit someone. Like I was saying before, it only has 5 shots in it, and the only way to find a new one or to find it in the first place is through SCP-2536, also known as the Christmas tree that spawns around. I'll talk more about this later, but long story short, you literally can't get this gun ever unless you get really lucky by finding that tree. That is the only way to get quote-unquote more shots out of it. Anyways, like I was saying, the particle gun cannot shoot through walls. It looks like it does because when you shoot through a wall, it shoots the long blue laser, but it doesn't actually do any damage or hit anyone. However, if you're very close to the wall on the other side of it, you can be hit by splash damage. But if you are directly on the other side of a wall when someone shoots it, nothing will happen to you. The particle gun can break doors when you shoot at them, but only some of them. Every single door that can be opened by anyone without a card can be broken using a particle gun. This includes the ones in entrance zone and in heavy. However, you can't break doors that require a key card to open it, such as the micro room, the armory, and any other gate that requires some form of card. And what's interesting is that if there's people hiding behind the door that you're shooting at, it does not do any damage to them at all. Another thing that's very interesting about this laser weapon is it has infinite range. We tested this out by going on surface and going as far as physically possible, and then shooting and hoping that I would hit the D-class standing on the other side, and I did. So the particle gun does have infinite range, but it's obviously extremely hard to hit anyone or anything from such a far distance because you can't really see anything. It also does the same amount of damage no matter what range you're going at, so damage fallout is just not a thing. What makes this interesting, however, is it doesn't look like it has infinite range. If you're close to someone using the particle gun, whenever they shoot it, it shoots a laser that goes a certain distance, and you can kind of see that laser being shot. However, at a certain distance away from them, you no longer see the laser, but it can still hit you. So in short, just because you don't see a laser doesn't mean someone doesn't have the weapon. Another interesting use of the particle gun, it can break SCP-244. SCP-244 is a new SCP they added to the game because of the update. We will talk about that later, but the particle gun is only one of 2 weapons that are actually able to destroy the vase. The particle gun can also activate grenades when shooting at a pile of them or any single one of them in general, and also can activate the ghost bulb, which number I kind of forget. And the last interesting piece of information about the particle gun is that when you inspect it, it makes a song. It plays music. Yeah, it plays music. And that's about everything for the particle gun. There's probably other minor things that I missed, or maybe major things that I just somehow didn't notice at all. But considering how soon this thing has been added, it's very hard to get much information out of anyone. The only other thing, which I did not test, is if the particle gun disintegrates SCPs. It does 200 damage to an SCP and does not one-shot Larry. I tested this out. But if it kills an SCP, I don't know if it disintegrates them like it does for D-class. And remember, the only way to get this is by extremely luck chance, so good luck even getting this weapon. Now that the particle gun is out of the way, we can talk about all the other things that they changed with the SCP update. To start off with, one of the coolest changes that they made is new menu music. I'm pretty sure they do this every time there's a holiday update, but this is probably the coolest music I've ever heard from an update. And this is exactly what I thought the first time I heard it. Kinda slaps though. Oh my... This shit kinda good. I need to know who composed this beautiful piece of music. Oh my god. If you want to know the name of the song and listen to the whole thing on your own, I have no idea how to find that. But if you just open up the game, it's just playing there for free. SCP-244 is a brand new SCP they added in the game that is pretty much a pot that when you open it, makes a whole bunch of blue mist just go out of it. There's actually 2 versions of SCP-244, 244A and B. They do the exact same thing, they just look kind of different slightly. Opening up one of the pots creates a, like I was saying before, blue mist that kind of covers up up a whole room, and when you step inside the room, slowly makes you cold and takes down your health. It's kind of like walking in a room and it poisons you over time, but as soon as you leave the room, you get just fine. If you find both of them and open both of them up, nothing happens. It's just the same thing. I think it just speeds up the process a little bit more. You can place them by left clicking, or you can throw one against the wall and it could even open itself. So technically you can toss one in a room while running away, which is kind of pointless because it takes a while to actually build up the mist, but you know what, why not? It's pretty cool detail. And the last thing about them is that they're indestructible. Technically, you can't shoot them and you can't break them unless you use a grenade or a particle gun like I mentioned before. When they break, nothing happens, they just kind of turn into pieces, and yeah, that's about it. SCP-018, the ball, is the exact same, but now it looks like an ornament again. This is the same thing they did last year, and I really love the change. It's just an ornament, and when it bounces, it makes glass noises instead of bouncy noises. And after throwing it and eventually it blowing up, it makes the same exact blowing up sound. Coal. There's coal now. I don't know where you're supposed to find coal other than, I'm assuming, from SCP-2536, the tree, which we're going to talk about really soon, but it doesn't do anything. It's a throwable rock, pretty much. It does no damage, doesn't do anything, and that's about it. The Chaos Car has turned into a train just like it was last year. Instead of a Chaos Car coming from the garage, it is a big old train that just comes right in through the garage up to the Chaos spawn area, drops off a Chaos, and suddenly flies into the air into the distance. It is a very interesting sight, and you can get run over by it, so be very careful when you're around it. The only SCP that looks different is SCP-173. He used to go from this to that during the first Christmas update, but now he goes from this to this disgusting abomination. I gotta say though, 173 being made of snow actually makes his design make a lot more sense. And I always think to myself, how long do you think they took deciding on where to put the hat on top of 173? Because they had like 10 different locations to put it. And the final change that they made, or at least as far as I know, is adding SCP-256 back into the game. SCP-2536, I think I forgot the 3, is a Christmas tree that gives you random gifts when it spawns around the map. Last year it just kind of showed up, played Christmas music, and disappeared into nothingness. Now when it shows up, it makes this kind of introduction message about returning to your containment, and then it shows up. And then when it shows up, it plays this really weird slow music, so I'll show you what it looks like right now. And of course, if you want to get anything, you just kind of look at the Christmas presents, you pick up the items, and yeah, that's pretty much how it works. This is the only way to get the 3x particle disruptor that I was talking about before. There's no other way to find this weapon other than doing the tree. How do you find the tree? It just spawns randomly around the map around you. That's all it is. You can't find it. It just kind of shows up. Another thing that's pretty interesting is that at the D-class spawn, there used to be a tree at the back of the D-class spawn. And ever since the Christmas update, the tree disappeared. So I guess the lore is the tree from the D-class spawn is SCP-2536, I'm assuming, but I think that's a pretty cool detail. The last thing about the tree that I find very weird to me is the actual quote-unquote song that it's playing. Some kind of slowed down music that I can't tell what it is. Everyone's just like, oh, it's playing a Christmas song, 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm like, sure, I don't think that's the 12 Days of Christmas, but slowed down. So I took it into my editing software, I sped it up by 1.6 speed, and this is what it sounds like when you slightly speed up the music. So it doesn't sound English. I don't know. There's a lot more different like soundtracks that play. This is just one of, I don't know, like 10 of them that I've heard so far. I'm probably exaggerating. There's probably only like 3, but I feel like there's a lot. It looks like SCP-2536 plays different music that are slowed down every time it shows up. And I don't think some of them are English. It's either a different language and it's slowed down so I don't know what it is, or it's English and I just have really bad hearing. Alright, and that's about all the changes they made to the SCPSL Christmas update. If I missed anything, let me know below, because I think I got everything, but there's a pretty high chance I missed like 1 or 2 things I just somehow forgot about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go play the game now because it's SCP Christmas update time. Go play some games. Go watch 173's The Snowman murder the entire MTF team. And yeah, hope you guys have some fun. Have a good Christmas. I'm probably going to upload again before Christmas, but we'll see about that. So thank you guys for watching. Have a really good day, and bye-bye.